How I caught my BF cheating with a prostitute in high school. So the year was 2020 and we were in lockdown for COVID. I F 15 at the time, was seeing this guy M18 for around 8 months. One day I went over his house and decided it would be funny to take a whole bunch of lame selfies making stupid faces since he left the room to shower. After I went to his camera roll to check them out and delete the really hideous ones, going into his recently deleted, I found multiple S's of two women's Instagram accounts. One of their bios said 23. This confused me and scared me, but I was hoping he was just trying to set his friends up with them or something. Still weird, even if he was 18, he was in high school. Still, and so were all of his friends, so being the FBI agent I was, I typed in their names into a massage and I found messages with his group chat. He was bragging about how one of them only asked for $20 for the best dome of his life. He talked about how it was easier to cheat with prostitutes than girls at school because all they want is money and not drama. Or gold diggers as he called them, lol, not too smart. Or in denial. Who knows? He even mentioned to his friend that one of the girls asked if he knew anyone who sold Percocet for cheap. When he came out of his shower, I was honestly bawling my eyes out, and at that point he knew. I remember yelling in his face saying, "Why fuck a prostitute?" out of all people, and he just sat there silently. Moral of the story is I think I would have rather him cheat with a friend than a prostitute because it really messed with my self-worth at the time.
I was being a little weeb and broke my friend's nose. So when I was like 11 or something, I was into Naruto and stuff. And I thought it would be pretty fucking sweet to put on some Naruto music and chase my friend around the house with some shitty foam side thing. He was hiding in a closet and I could see his legs sticking out from underneath a rack of clothes, and because I wanted to be scary or something, I pretended I didn't know where he was. Some background info is I had this, like, foam side thingy I got from a Halloween costume a couple years prior. It was pretty soft, but the interior had this like hard PVC pipe in it. I then proceeded to yell some cringe shit and throw the scythe in a perfect spiral of the likes of Peyton Manning. It hit him, and I hear him start crying, and he comes out with blood dripping down his face and into his hands. What followed was the worst thing I have ever experienced in my life and probably ever will. My mom came down the hallway and saw him bleeding all over the bathroom sink and asked me what happened. We both agreed to never tell her the truth, and we told her he ran into a door. I still have not told anyone about this in years and have lost contact with that friend.
I'm a terrible son and brother due to all my wrongdoings. I have been a very terrible son to my mom. Caused her a lot of pain with my mean words and body language, even though I'm well aware of all the hardship she's been through for me. And a bad elder brother and set a wrong example to him. I've done a lot of wrongs primarily due to my temper. I'm trying to do right by them and also working on my temper issue. I wish I was a better person. I'm lucky I have them to support me when I'm down. I've started to find ways to spend more time with them instead of friends because I've started to understand things better. To those who have accidentally killed someone, what went wrong? No, but I thought I did for almost 2 years. Very close friend of mine. The kind of guy that always seemed to be happy and everybody just loved him. Was hanging out at his place. We were 16 back then, and for whatever reason I don't remember, I showed him how to tie the hangman's knot. 3 days later he was dead. His mom called, claiming he hung himself, and it was all my fault. Fucked me up badly. My friend was dead. I never saw anything coming, and apparently it was even my fault. Almost 2 years later we found out by coincidence that he killed himself with exhaust fumes in his mom's car. I'll never know why he did it, which still haunts me sometimes, or why his mom blamed me with wrong accusations. Never could be angry about that though, given how painful that must have been for her, or how she knew about that stupid knot. Follow for more stories like this.
Would I be the asshole for hooking up with my friend's dad? Kind of a weird situation I'm in, but I 19F have been friends with a girl named Jessica 21F for about a year. We're not super close, but close enough to be considered friends. Anyway, I randomly saw her dad 42M on Tinder and I jokingly swiped right to see if he liked my profile. Surprisingly, we insta-matched. I laughed and just left the match pending, then went to work. During my break, I got a notification of him messaging me. He said, "Hey, beautiful." I thought maybe he didn't recognize me because we only met once, so I asked him, "You know who I am, right?" And he said, "Yes, of course. Do you care?" Again, I didn't really know how to respond. The thing with Jessica is she's a legit 10, one of the hottest girls I know, and it's because her parents are both attractive. There's an inside joke between the friend group that her dad is a DILF, so I kinda wanted to entertain this and see where it goes. Me and her dad talked a bit more and he asked what I'm looking for. I told him nothing serious, I don't even really use Tinder. That's when he asked to take me out for drinks tonight and hang out. Now I'm in a weird predicament because I entertained this far too long where Jessica will probably be upset with me just for talking with him. But I only did it because it was funny and I jokingly swiped on him. At the same time, I have nothing to do tonight and I haven't had sex in months. I know it's probably a bitch move to have sex with her dad, but you have to realize he looks young and is really attractive for a dad. Follow for more stories like this.
Am I the asshole for getting upset with my girlfriend for sitting on a man's lap? I, 28 meters, went out to live music venue to celebrate my GFS 23F sister's birthday. I arrived about an hour earlier than my girlfriend because she and her sister's friends met up at a restaurant bar beforehand, and I met up with my friends at the venue. While I was at the venue, I got a message from my GF that she sat on a man in a wheelchair's lap and he spun her around, which upset me a bit because we have spoken about boundaries in the past and she's well aware I wouldn't be cool with it. When she arrived at the venue, I was a little cold with her because I was upset. She apologized and I thought things were fine. But every 20 minutes, I had to hear from someone about how she's sorry and I shouldn't be upset, which I didn't mind at first, but after the 5th person, I just got extremely frustrated. I didn't want the night to be about such a non-issue. Later on, my GFS sister came to speak to me about it. I explained to her why I didn't like it, and she said, "Well, my GF didn't even need to tell me what happened. Like if that makes everything better somehow, like she's done me some kind of favor telling me what happened. Honestly, I would rather not have known and just enjoyed my night." When I got back to the table my GF was sitting at, she shouted and swore at me and ran off. I went to ask her what's going on, and admittedly I completely lost my cool at this point. Some random guy tried to talk to us. I politely asked him to leave us alone, but he wouldn't, so I yelled at him to fuck off somewhat aggressively, and he left. I know I was an asshole for that. My girlfriend explained she swore at me because she thought I was being shitty to her sister, which I wasn't, and confirmed with her sister. Follow for more stories like this.
I ratted out my best friend, and to this day she doesn't know that it was me. This happened roughly 3 or 4 years ago. When my friend begun high school, she is 2 years younger than I. She unfortunately joined the wrong crowd. She started vaping, smoking weed, and drinking all at the age of 12 to 14. I, unfortunately at the time, was also vaping and drinking, and although she wasn't initially influenced by me, I can't help but feel as I somewhat encouraged the behavior, as whenever we hung out, I would occasionally be the one providing the alcohol and vapes. During this time, her parents were having issues and her father left the family. She fell into a deep depression and was diagnosed with several other mental illnesses that I won't be listing. Her behavior became very destructive and her family became increasingly worried with her actions. Her mom and brother went through her belongings and found several vapes and bottles of alcohol, and she was grounded for a very long time, causing her to become even worse. Her older sister at the time was friends with my older sister and had come over for my sister's birthday. I joined them as they talked in my sister's room. There her sister confessed her severe worries towards my best friend, and I came to a realization as to how bad things really were. I told her everything, from the very beginning, all the times she had smoked weed, when she drank, where she had gotten the vapes from, how the people she hung out with were not the best, etc. I even showed and sent her multiple photos with evidence of her having vaped, drank, and smoked. Her sister was insanely grateful for all the information, and she later showed her mom. When my best friend found out that someone had revealed all her secrets, she had an quote episode which I'm not even quite sure whether that's the right term for it. My friend told me how she would never forgive her sister and their relationship was ruined forever, which they previously had an insanely good bond. I felt so insanely guilty and horrible knowing I had been the one to do that to her. Eventually things got better and her mental health improved significantly. Her bond with her sister was repaired. However, she still tells me that it's something she will never be able to forgive her for. To this day she doesn't know it was me. She has absolutely no idea who it was. Yet, the worst part is that she has literally zero suspicion of me because she wouldn't be able to imagine that I would betray her trust to that degree, and that leaves me with a pit in my stomach every time I think about it. I'm so torn on whether it's something to eventually confess to her or just leave it be. Follow for more stories like this.